But even his son is like a little bit iffy.
Yeah, he's like a little wishy-washy.
I can't tell if sometimes he's trying to play smart politics or if like he's like corrupted a little bit. I can't.
Or he's just dumb.
Yeah, I don't know, but and there's a few others, you know. But it is just like, and even if you do stick to principle, you're definitely not going to have any effect because the whole machine is working against you. Like the money in politics that these guys
the lobbyists, all that
fundraising to get on these committees and blah blah blah. It's just it's a swamp.
No, it is. Yeah, it's a cesspool.
You get there, and I think that even just being in Washington D.C. is just like a corrupting place to be because even there are a lot of like good libertarians and good people who like move to D.C. and then they want access, they want to do their stories with the politicians and whatnot, and I think that even that can become corrupting to your consistent principles, like as a libertarian. Like, you don't want to be seen as, like, too outsider. You don't want to be seen as, like, too shocking. Your opinion is too against the grain. So you kind of, like, just bury that stuff so you can get your meeting with X or Y congressmen and, like, do an interview with them. And then before too long, you're just, like, compromised way too far to matter.
Like I said, you're in the cesspool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question since you're a libertarian and you work for Libertarian Feed. Any hate come towards you guys, or you specifically?
I haven't gotten anything, like, I just get, like, random YouTube comments, like, people will be like, this guy's really pulling off the, soy boy hipster cuck look pretty well, stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That's just funny to me. A lot, I think a lot of people, just, like, there's a lot of vitriol, so anybody who's kind of just, like, rebelling against just, like, hardcore progressivism is always going to get a lot of hate. But I don't know, once I started doing this stuff and once I started to be like the guy on the channel with a lot of followers, which I haven't done like too much of actually appearing on it, but it's just like, I don't know, someone who's on Twitter or in the comments who's like talking shit, it's kind of like, well man, I'm on the channel and you're commenting on it, so like, what do you matter? But I do think, so there's a story of my colleague Justin. He did this video that went viral. It was called like the Obama that I used to know. It was kind of going at like the same thing with like John Boehner or any other politician really. They campaign on a certain thing. Like Obama was very like anti-war when he was campaigning. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, very.
But he waged all kinds of. He got into like 8 new countries, like dropping bombs everywhere. And so this video was kind of like that and went viral.
Yeah, probably.
My colleague went on CNN to talk about it, and they were.
Who interviewed him?
I don't remember. Some lady.
Okay.
I don't remember her name, but apparently she was like really nice to him when he got there, and like very welcoming, and went on and she like said what they were going to talk about, whatever, and as soon as they were on air, bam, Rabbit started attacking him, started going against him. It was just like nothing.
Like a total setup.
Yeah. So you gotta be. I haven't been doing this long enough to have anything that put me on like any mainstream news outlets or anything. But if I did, I would have to like really compose myself and really try to not be naive about where I am there. Because even if I went on Fox News, it would be like there's like one person there who's like friendly. There's like a couple of people on Fox Business who are friendly to reasonable people and to libertarians in general. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten any hate personally. Pretty active on Twitter, but that's always just kind of just like random spats. But it's no. I think that there were people like in my real life when I started like being really public about the stuff and like advocating democracy and stuff. I always do it to my like mainstream audience. I always go on Instagram to do it. Because my Twitter is like very political. Most people follow me or like Twitter's ANARCHIST and whatnot. But I go on Instagram on my story and I like put memes and like messages and stuff, try to reach like the normal people, try to cross some red pills. And I would, when I first started doing that, like people were arguing with me all the time. And I think like I lost a bunch of followers and stuff. But in real life, it is just like either people don't know what to say to you because they haven't thought about it as much, or they're like interested in having like a real
I mean, listen, I've had conversations with diehard progressives and liberals and Democrats, and I'd say maybe out of 10, 3, we actually had a decent conversation where he or she actually heard my side, I heard her side, and we came to terms that, you know, that's your ideology and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But other people, you try to talk to them and they get so angry and so pissed off. And then my comment always back to them is, why are you getting so angry?
Yeah.
Do you not know the facts? Is that why you're angry? Or are you angry because it's emotional? It's almost like the fan, you know. They'll bet you $100 that the team's going to beat you, knowing that the other team has like a 14-point, you know, spread on you.
Yeah.
You know, they'll still bet you, you know.
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of people, I think this is like really common. This is just like a part of humans, I think. It's just like we gotta stick to our guns, we don't like being wrong. And we certainly don't like to be in a place of cognitive dissonance. So if you're in a place where you're getting told information that just undermines your entire worldview, there's very few people who can take that like calmly and rationally consider it, especially in the moment.
Oh, for sure.
And just like, be like, oh, you know what, you might actually be right about that. That's very rare. Most people are just going to respond. You know what it feels like to have cognitive dissonance. It's very uncomfortable. And if you're not like really dedicated to being a person of like truth or reason, it's going to be very upsetting. And I think that does anger a lot of people.
Yeah, you know, like I was talking to a client and we were talking about the impeachment, you know, and she's like, oh, so what do you think? I said, honestly, what I know now, what we know now, I said, I don't think he did anything wrong. Okay?
Certainly not anything out of the ordinary.
Okay? Yeah. I said, right now. However, if we get the transcript and it shows that he says, if you don't for example, if you don't investigate Biden, I'm not going to give you the money, then you know what? The proof is there. Right. He said it. He did it. Right. Then my perspective is going to be, he fucked up.
Yeah.
So now, you know, comes the consequences. But up until right now, and she's like, you know what? She goes, fair enough. I totally agree with that because we don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
You know, and like we're talking, I go, but let me understand something. I don't understand what the difference is of what he did compared to what Biden did, telling him, if you don't investigate, I'm gonna hold them. He literally said, I'm gonna take the money away from you. And he goes, what do you know? 6 hours later, they got rid of him. That's more blatant than what he said as of right now. If you compare the two tapes, you know, and that's the part that I don't understand. And it goes back to how people vote. If they would know the facts, I believe they would vote differently. But these media outlets, I mean, you're the small fish, you know, in the pond, fighting the big fish.
Well, there's just a lot of voices. We're not that small. I mean, we get like 5 million page views a month. Our YouTube channel gets about 2.5 million.
Oh wow! Yeah, so you guys are setting the trend.
Yeah, I mean, Reason is a fairly well-known outlet. If like pretty much anyone who's a professional journalist knows Reason.
Okay, yeah. But you know, you guys, you know, comparison to CNN.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. But yeah, I think CNN's dying, and I think like all the alternative outlets put together certainly get way more traction than does CNN or MSNBC, or probably the most popular, honestly, is Fox. I bet Fox News. I don't know the stats, but I bet they're the most popular one.
You know what? I would think they would be also, but I think they've had they've had a lot of anchors leave them.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so there's this guy, Nick Gillespie, who's like the most famous person at Reason. I think he hosts the Reason Interview podcast, and he was interviewing Greg Gutfeld, you know who that is, Fox.
No.
He has a show, I think, on Fox News, and he was saying that his show outperforms like all of the other channels. Like
really?
All of their most popular ones, like even like the Daily Show, Trevor, like he just outdoes them all by a lot. And I think there is something to that. Like if you listen to, like Tucker Carlson pisses me off a lot, but if you listen to him, he's not vapid. He's not an empty shell of a person. Like, he can't hold a real conversation.
Yeah, you know, I think for me, his voice annoys me.
Yeah, well, a lot of things about him annoy me. But my point is that I think that they come off a little bit more authentic and a little bit more like real people. A lot of these like CNN news anchors, like you and I could like we could just outsmart them. I think very quickly in any long conversation because they don't think in that way.
No, I always said that if you brought me in against like Don Lemon, because I've said this before, if I ever saw him on the street, I'd sock him right in the face. I would. Because I think he's a fucking lying piece of shit. You know, with the things that he does, he never. It's okay for him to put out his view, but when somebody challenges him or is smarter than him, he shuts him down.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of hypocritical stuff from him too.
You know,
there was like.
He just annoys me.
Yeah, this was one
he's
that I
an
saw
asshole.
from him. This is one that I saw from him. I was like, dude, you are like the lowest piece of garbage that I could think of. Because he was like, if you remember when Megyn Kelly worked for CNN,
yeah,
and she pretty much got fired for being like, what's really that? She was. I didn't hear the comments themselves. It was like the blackface thing where she was like, what's the big deal with like blackface? And they were like, you don't know the big deal with blackface? You're out of here. And they just like made a whole fucking thing about it, fired her, and she had to go somewhere else. But when Justin Trudeau actually did blackface like 6 times or something, he was like, well, you know, I'm sure he didn't really mean it, and it was like, we're gonna forgive him for that.
Yeah.
And like he actually was in blackface, like this decade and stuff.
Well,
but I was just like, dude, it's so obvious.
It was the same thing like when the Smollett incident happened. Remember? Yeah. And he was there. You could tell he was just waiting to say, "Oh, they were Trump supporters," you know. And they were and then it comes out that it was all a lie and a hoax. And I just happened to be like walking by. Somebody had it at my gym, and he's like, "Well, you know, this is because he's been persecuted as a black man all this time. This is what persecution is."
Famous celebrity. This is just persecution.
So it's like, no, he was an idiot. He should have said this guy was a total idiot who decided to create a crime because he wanted more money, and is a complete moron. He brings a bad name to African Americans for saying it was that's what he should have done. But no, he puts a spin on it now because he has to make it racist now. That because the white man has been persecuting black people and we don't know how to really react. And he tries to justify his behavior. And that's what's wrong. You see, but nobody calls it out. So people can be like, you know, he is right. That is bullshit. The guy's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, and I think that, I just think that anybody who sees this stuff in passing, like I have like a decent amount of faith in just like the normal people in America. Just be like, I'm not gonna fucking listen to this anymore. And it seems to be kind of working out.
You know what? I believe that, especially with the last vote, that people lied to all the pollsters, which was great. You know, because the polls were completely wrong.
Yeah.
And I think people don't want to say that they like Trump. Or even like me, like I said, I wasn't for Trump, but I like what he's done. The economy's doing great. I like what he's doing for our military. I like a lot of things that he's doing.
Sure.
Okay, I didn't like him before, but now I like what he's doing. So, but I think people are scared because if I say I like Trump, people are like, "Oh, you're a fucking asshole. You're ignorant. You're an idiot."
Yeah, you must be racist.
Yeah.
Against yourself.
Exactly. You don't love yourself.
Yeah, you have internalized your racism.
Exactly.
I'll tell you.
You know, so it's like,
and it's correct me if I'm wrong, but the people who would say that kind of thing to you, they're always white liberals. Aren't
always.
They? Oh yeah.
Always.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
For
like,
sure. They love speaking on behalf of other people. It fucking that's their whole life purpose. They want to rule. They really want to be like. They want to be looked up to by like the poor little black man, the poor minorities, and trans people, and whatever. They want to be like. They want to cuddle them in.
Yeah.
Like, but what all that is just like they want to have control over them. Like they want to use them as a stepping stool to be like the leaders of society.
Absolutely.
Like, they don't want them to be individual people because then they wouldn't have a need for the white liberal.
Yeah, no, I mean it's you are the X and they're the justification.
Yeah.
Of and that part is just fucking.
They're a lot of these politicians are so pandering. I saw this thing on Twitter. Elizabeth Warren said she responded to some like group who endorsed her, and she was like, part of the tweet was like, non-binary trans black women are the backbone of this country or something. That's what she said. And I was just like, where are you coming from? What are you talking about?
You know what? And here's another thing. You just said that we're binary. Like, why does everything have to have a classification?
Right.
You know, binary, transgender. I'm so confused with so many acronyms that we have. You know, bisexual, heterosexual. You know.
Yeah, they're somehow acting like all this stuff is new. Like, and they're trying to make this whole like 70 some odd gender thing where it's like every little deviation from something that they think is like the norm, like somehow like there's one kind, like everybody knew there was not one kind of man or not one kind of woman, and there was like, you know, a sliding scale of masculinity versus femininity. It's pretty fucking obvious. Like, you're way more manly than I am. Like, look at our muscles and shit. But like,
right.
But that's like, that's different. You know, like I don't need. I'm just a man, and it's like they're trying to separate like objective reality from their like institutional ideas. That they just
but you know,
their women's genders.
But their objective reality is causing major problems. You know, I'll give you an example. So we're talking about bathrooms.
Sure.
Right? That anybody can go into a bathroom. Right? That just opens a door, and I've talked about this before on my podcast, that just opens the door for some freak to walk in and molest a little boy or little girl. You know, because he's feeling like a woman, quote unquote. Or, you know, or he can urinate and a little girl walks in. Well,
yeah, it's really strange. A lot of this like transgender stuff is like oddly anti-woman too, because you got like these like men who are now participating in women's sports.
I just did a podcast.
It's like now women. It's like we all like pretty much 90% or more of women are way cleaner than men. So like, and why are we trying to take away their bathrooms? I'm pretty sure they're way nicer than ours, but we're just like sending in these like male spies to like. It might be some big man's conspiracy to fuck with all the women shit. Like, we're just gonna dress up as women and just like fuck up their bathrooms.
You know, I did this podcast and I titled it "Fuck Feminism."
Yeah.
Because they're hypocrites. You know, they fight. Oh, I'm for my woman, but like you said, men are competing and kicking the shit out of women. But it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, because he's coming out or he's always. It's like I said, this classification of everybody is just driving me nuts. Like, I've had my fill.
Yeah.
You know, it seems every day I hear about some binary this. What's gonna be tomorrow? You know, so I guarantee you somebody right now is working on a different word.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure they are, because all of these ideas are like fairly popular now with all these like various genders and all of this stuff. It's like at least 30 years old coming out of academia, like these just like subsidized departments that have no purpose other than just to create these like political activists. They're like, this is where these ideas come from. If you were to ever come across these like academic journals that these people publish, it is fucking nonsense. You can't read it. It's just a wall of text that makes absolutely no sense. I wish I could give you an example, but there was, I don't know if you heard about this, one of the guys was Peter Boghossian and a few other people. They totally trolled some of these journals. They wrote these fake articles that were about like stuff as ridiculous as like, I'm sure I'm not getting this exactly right, but they were like analyzing rape culture by observing how dogs behaved at dog parks and stuff like that, and it's just like absolute nonsense. They completely made it up. And they got published in these journals. They totally faked it and they hoaxed them all. Yeah, you should look that up. I think there's an episode of Joe Rogan about it. It's like Peter Boghossian. You should check it out.
Oh, I gotta check that out. Yeah. But we go back again to these are people that are voting.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
That I've always said this, that politicians should at least worked for a corporation, had their own business, and I want to see how they balance their checkbook.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as for a voter, dude, if you haven't graduated high school, I'm sorry, you can't vote because you're a fucking idiot.
Right.
Like seriously, we have to draw. Look,
Yeah.
we
No,
have.
I think.
You need a test for a driver license.
Yeah.
Like there's certain classifications that we need for certain things. We need a classification for voting.
I think. So this might be a little bit controversial, but I think so. A big problem with government is that the incentives are all fucked up. Like people can just vote. Like if the choice is between someone like me who's like, no, I'm not going to give you any free stuff, and we're gonna stop all this nonsense.
And I'm like, I'm gonna give everybody free.
Yeah, like you're gonna win
Yeah.
every time.
Oh,
So
exactly.
the incentives are really messed up, and the thing is, like people who don't have any stakes in the game, people who don't have kids, people who don't like own property, are just like able to just like, yeah, we're gonna raise property taxes and X, Y, and Z. Like they have no
Right.
stake in the future. It's just like this very what's called high time preference in economics, where they just they want now. Like if there's no saving for later. They're certainly not going to save up any capital to be an entrepreneur. Like it's just it's for the now, and you know, like a famed economist Paul Krugman said, or no, it was actually Keynes. Like we're all dead in the long run, so fuck it. But that's not the case for people with kids. It's not the case for people with property they're going to give to other people. And you know, I think that it would make more sense. Like I said, I'm against democracy, but it would make more sense incentive-wise if people who had kids and people who had property were the only ones allowed to vote. That would make sense.
Yeah.
That would be the incentive.
I've always said this, that you should have at least some type of college degree. You should make more than 60 grand.
I'm not going to hold people's college degrees against them.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to be, you know, kind of easy on some. You should make like 60 grand a year or more, right? And you should either own some type of property because you're going to vote the right way. I mean, explain to me why every state that is almost liberal dominated is in a shithole. They have poor schools, poor taxes, homeless issues, and then all the ones that are Republican run are great schools, no tax, and they're doing well. There's an example here. Like, how much more do you need to like open your eyes and see this?
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. Like it doesn't seem to me we're gonna vote our way out of this problem. But man, I don't know. Sometimes it seems hopeless. But I think the idea is the principle's gotta win out in the long run. And I think there are a lot of cool projects like in my sphere of like anarchists and stuff. What they're trying to do is when I use the word anarchist, I'm using a very technical sense.
Yeah.
I'm not using there's kind of a colloquial version that is just like chaos in the streets. And
No,
shit.
I
It's
think
not what I'm referring
no.
to.
I think when people hear you say anarchist, they're thinking, oh, Antifa. No, you're not. You're not those boneheads.
No. It's kind of the exact opposite. But what they're trying to do is basically start like basically like special economic zones. The idea would be to this is not the ideal situation, but it would be to create like go to a place and be like, all right, we're this private company. We're basically gonna start this city, and we're gonna attract people here. And the reason they're gonna come is that we're gonna promise them ideally what the state was supposed to do, which is like protect people's rights. Like we're gonna protect their property rights. We're gonna set up a system of arbitration so they can settle legal disputes. And that's all we're going to do. And these people are going to come here voluntarily. They pay for this service. It's an actual contract. It's not a social contract, which is what they teach you in public school. The government can tax people because of a social contract. I didn't sign shit. But this is one of these things where it's kind of like Hong Kong type stuff, but you wouldn't do it in China because China is a terribly authoritarian place. But I think this is like one of these things where if these places like start to get set up where you can have a place that is dedicated to like economic freedom, and you have like no tax and whatever, and you can see that this stuff works out better. The perhaps that'll catch on, and perhaps that'll be like a thing that changes people's mind. And I think the incentive's there, because if you hear about this place that is just like, well, very low crime, like your property's safe there, like you can invest in your future, and a lot of cool stuff that's happening there, because there's all kinds of entrepreneurs who want to be there. You know, whatever, they don't have these drug laws, because, you know, you can use whatever, you know, is what you want, because it's your body.
Right.
And I think that could work out, and they just have to, basically the way they're going to try to do it is like negotiate with like a host state. They'll try to pick a place where the country like cares about what the rest of the world says about them, unlike China, and they'll just be like, us as a private company will pay you like X amount of dollars, like X amount of dollars every year, to let us have this autonomous space here, where the only relationship we have to you is that we pay you money every year to just let us not be in on your laws.
Yeah, but you know what I think what will happen is that eventually, very slowly, some progressive will slide in there and start stirring the pot. Like, I'll give you.
Because it's not a democracy though, because you're not voting. It's just you. So it's just a company, and what you're doing is you're entering into a contract with them. Like, you're on equal legal footing. It's not like with the government where you have no redress against them. If they fuck you over, you won't have anything. But like these kinds of situations, it's just you have these private companies, and it's the same thing with, like, if this mic starts fucking up, it's like you just call them, and they're probably going to send you a new one. Like, you probably have a warranty or whatever. Like, if your car that you just bought has a problem, like, they're going to fix it. The thing is, they have the economic incentive to do it, and the major difference between like a place like that and a government is that the governments have power to tax you, which means they force you into the relationship, because if you don't pay your taxes, what's going to happen? You know, like, you're going to be fined, and if you don't pay those fines, they're going to come and they're going to
right.
So it's force.
Right.
And so these private places, they don't have that. They have to actually please you, right? And
I mean, listen, the plan sounds great, because who doesn't want to live in a neighborhood that...
Yeah, it's called like free private cities, I think, is the...
Is there anything that is being established now?
There's a few places. I know they're in negotiations with a few states. It's kind of like on the DL right now, but they do look to some places. Like, the guy who started it lives in Monaco, which is kind of like, it's a little bit akin to that, where they're like autonomous from the French government, but they're like not fully like an independent state. But they have like it's like very free place, especially monetarily. Like, I've been there, and it's just crazy. You got like a 400-year-old castle on top of the hill, and you go down, and it's like Lamborghinis and Louis Vuitton stores.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So let me ask you a question, not to just get completely changed, but since I know you're in media, so Austin, Texas has really turned really left.
Yeah.
Right? Phoenix, Arizona, a lot of people have left California and moved to Arizona because it's cheaper to live there, no state tax,
Right.
but they're still voting Democratic.
Yeah, I think that Phoenix and Texas, like Arizona and Texas, probably need to like close their borders to Californians if they care about their freedom.
And that's where my question comes to you. So if they know how bad things are in California, why or how are they letting these liberals get traction and get into office?
Man, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, you're not brought up learning about like economics, right? So most people don't understand the relationship between taxes and the trade-offs of taxes. They don't understand the regulations and the downsides of regulations. They just hear like, oh, we want to do stuff for the poor, so we're going to raise the taxes, we're going to redistribute a lot of money, and it's going to help people. They don't realize that you're just like incentivizing poverty. It's like, oh, if we subsidize poverty, we might get more poverty. Oh, that's weird. It's like the whole state of California is one big giant example of that.
Oh, big time.
But And so, but they just don't understand these relationships, and no one's gonna tell them, right? So it's just like I think people who can see the truth, people who have taken that red pill, just have to get better at making these arguments. I think, and there's gonna have to be like multiple fronts of it. Like I think it's good that the corporate press has been like very much like the respect has gone away. That people don't take them seriously anymore. I think that's good. I think that's a good start because now people are less inclined to believe the propaganda. And I think that people like myself need to start making better moral arguments. We need to start framing these things in ways that might appeal to people who are naturally inclined to look out for the underdog, look out for the guy who's not well off, whatever. And I too care about those people, and I think that the stuff that I support would actually make poverty less of a problem.
Let me ask you this:
yeah.
Do you think we're close to a civil war?
Man, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't. If you mean like literal, like blood in the streets,
Like internal, like like a pot boiling.
it's certainly
The lid
There's
is.
certainly like deep division in the country, I think, but it does seem to be among like small groups of people who are really loud. 'Cause I don't think, like I said, like 46% of the people who were eligible to vote didn't vote in 2016.
And I'll tell you the reason why I ask you this question is I have a client of mine, very staunch Democrat, extremely staunch. Votes for the party, would not vote. I think maybe he may vote for somebody if they were Republican, kind of maybe a little bit of liberal views. He might vote for him. But he said a comment today to me that blew me away. Okay, I'm telling you, the staunch Democrat. He goes, history's that's my subject. I love history, and I've been helping my son with his history. His son's a sophomore in high school, and he goes, I've come to terms that I need to buy a gun. And I was like, I got like blown away. I'm like, did I just hear you right? He goes, yeah, you heard me right. He goes, we're in trouble. He goes, I would rather have a gun to defend my family than not to have anything at all. And I was like, wow.
Do you get guns in California? Do they have those here?
Yeah, I know.
No, I mean, I can see where he's coming from. I really can.
But like I said, I was blown away not so much that he wanted to buy a gun,
Yeah.
but because, Democratic view is get rid of all guns.
Right. And that he, so what blew you away about it was that he's so anti-gun, but yet the climate of right now is letting him feel like he needs a gun to defend himself.
Actually, what I think was he read history and saw what history has done, and you have to